Day 1101. It is 3 p.m. I'm just leaving Starbucks. Today has been just great. Two things. The first thing is I was just getting really focused on what I have to create, and I was putting together the calling coaching framework. That's the same thing as the purpose coaching framework, but now it incorporates all the warrior stuff, and just getting clear on like what this is really about. And thank God was giving me clarity and focus, and I was putting that together. And this lady came into Starbucks who I met, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago. I remember I had a conversation with a friend who's a believer who didn't believe in spiritual warfare. And we were just having like an open conversation about it. And I prayed after that. I was like, God, if I'm wrong about this, will you please confirm it? And if I'm right, will you please confirm it? I go to Starbucks. I sit down. There's 2 spots in all of Starbucks, 2 chairs. I sit down. The lady tries to this lady comes in. She tries to move into the spot next to me. So we all have to scoot over. And she has a book there that's like a daily devotional from the Bible. And she got back and I asked her, how was it? And then we ended up having this conversation, and she's all about spiritual warfare. She opens her notebook. She's got all these notes on spiritual warfare. And it was like this massive confirmation from God that, no, you're definitely right about spiritual warfare. It's a real thing. And it was just such an amazing conversation. And I haven't seen her since. And she was there, and she walked by and we made eye contact, and she just didn't even see me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then 2 hours later, she came over while I was working, and she was just telling me, she's like, do you remember me? I was like, yeah, of course. And she was just talking to me about she's in the lion's den right now, and it's hard, and she's, it can be scary because she's just running on fumes right now financially, but she's just trusting God. And while she's talking, it was just this thing where God was like, bless her. And I had $50 in my wallet, and I keep that in there. That's my reserve money. That's my backup money, because I got $200 right now. But I have clients that will be paying soon. And some other stuff coming in, I think. But it was just God was just like, bless her. And I was like, man, I had that $50 reserved for me. And God's like, it's not reserved for you. It's reserved for her. And so she's talking, so I pull it out of my wallet. She doesn't see me. And I just set it down, and I'm like, can I bless you? Is it okay? And she started crying, standing there next to me in the middle of Starbucks. She started crying. She's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I was like, that's not for me, that's from God. And she's just got tears in her eyes, and she's like, wow. And she said, this is what the kingdom is supposed to be like. This is what believers are supposed to be like. The Acts 2 church says that believers would sell their stuff, and they would give to everyone, in the group who needed, so no one went without. And she's like, that's what the kingdom is supposed to be. That's what the family of Christ is supposed to be. None of us should ever be going without. None of us should ever have a need that's not fulfilled, because we're all supporting each other. And I was like, wow, seriously, that's really what this should be. Man, if all believers came together truly as a body of Christ, and if they did what they did back in the Acts church, and sold all of their things and made sure that everyone had the money that they needed, no one would ever go without. It just wouldn't be a thing, and believers would be able to truly thrive. And it was just this massive breakthrough and realization, and I was so grateful that she said that. And it just showed me I was just such a cheerful giver. I was just yeah, of course, please take it. If I had more, I'd give you more. And it just shows wow, God has really broken my worship of money. And when I was driving home this morning, it was God was just tithe. Whatever you have in your bank account, just tithe on that. And I was I looked at my bank account, there's $200. And so I tithed $20. And it was just it's God is just showing me in this moment where there's some scarcity and there's some lack, and I have to come up with, $3,000 extra in the next 30 days, before I go to this event, I don't know where it's going to come from. And it's God's just give. God just give, just keep giving. God called me to bless my mom and buy her groceries and get her all the nice organic stuff. And I did that. God called me to tithe on what I had this morning, and I did that. And then God called me to bless this woman, and I did that. And it's just like, it's crazy to me how I'm just doing it. Like, there's no fear, there's no resistance, there's no attachment that I have to money. The old me right now, there's no chance I would have given her $50. There's no chance. Like, I wouldn't have bought my mom stuff because, you know, she had some money to buy it on her own. Actually, she has more money in her bank account than I do. And so I definitely wouldn't have done that because it was like, no, she's got money, but God told me to bless her. And yeah, it was just, it's just like God is just testing me. Like, are you going to worship money? And I'm just like, no, I just refuse to worship money. I have no anxiety about it. I have no worry about it, no doubt about it. Like, I know God's going to provide. And in a moment of need, I'm giving. In a moment of lack, I'm taking abundant action, and I'm just giving. And it was just amazing to see her be so blessed, because she was like, my car right now, the gas, after I gave her the money, she's like, my gas, like, I'm running on fumes right now. And I know that feeling. I've been there plenty of times. And I show up to the Starbucks, and I paid for my coffee $2.50 in quarters. And I was telling her about that, and we were just laughing, and I was like, I know, I've been there. And I'm telling you, and all of her accounts are in the negative right now. And I'm like, I know what it's like. And when you have no money, like when you're in the negative, when you don't even have enough gas to like get anywhere, $50 might as well be $1 million. It feels like $1 million. And so it was just awesome that I could bless her, because, you know, that's a week of groceries. That's half a tank of gas in LA right now, because the gas is like $7 or $8 a gallon, which is crazy. But either way, it doesn't matter. It was just a blessing, and it was from God. And I made it very clear that, no, that God called me to do that. So just thank him, because he had it all lined up. And it was the first time she's been in that Starbucks in months. And so it was just amazing. God is just so good. And I'm just so blessed that he's broken this spirit of mammon, the spirit of greed that I've had all my life, you know, when it comes to worshiping money and pursuing money and letting money control my emotions. And it's just like, I'm just like refusing to let that happen. And it's just crazy. He's teaching me, in a moment of lack, you give. And it feels so effortless to give. Like, I finally can feel truly like a cheerful giver. And to see the impact had, like, I thought she'd just be like, oh, wow, thank you. But no, she's like in tears. And I was like, wow. And it's just beautiful that God used me to bless her. So, yeah, it's really cool. Really, really cool. So I'm very grateful that God has transformed my heart. It's amazing.